The best journey is the one that answers questions that at the beginning you didn't even think to ask. I'm on a journey trying to find out what it means to be a good dad.
A military map is simple and easy to understand once you know how to apply certain basic principles. This man, for example, is in unfamiliar territory. He wishes to identify his present location. On his military map, if he knows how to read and use it, the soldier will find all of the information necessary to solve his problem. But before he can be certain that the information he reads from the map is correct as it relates to his present position, he must orient the map. There are several ways to orient a map, but one of the fastest and most accurate is with a compass.
I'm a husband, a father, and a business owner. I direct people for a living. Telling a CEO what to say on camera and where they should direct their marketing efforts comes easy to me. Raising 3 kids is not nearly as simple. There's no training video or compass to direct me on how to raise my kids. A few weeks ago, my son Max had a field trip to a state park. One of the exercises for the day was to learn how to use a compass. Max said,
"Why can't we just use your phone?"
Instead of using our phones, we were to use a cheap plastic compass to find the locations. We learned about true north and how to read the compass. It was my job to help him and point him in the right direction. Occasionally he was off by a few degrees. So when I started having kids, I started realizing that something was missing. Something wasn't right. I really didn't know what I was doing. I was depressed, scared, and insecure. I was now responsible for another person. How do I do this? Do I have what it takes? Is there a manual? How do I read my compass?
A line from any position on the Earth's surface to the North Pole indicates true north.
I started talking to other fathers. I'd ask them, what did you do right and what did you do wrong? This is a series that looks at what it means to be a father today and the role our dads played in our lives. And I figured that the best way to start would be to talk to my own dad. Alright. So you can hear me all right?
I can hear you fine.
I told you a little bit about the Soul Pancake Project. You know, obviously for the first episode, it'd probably be good if I started with you.
You know, I had expectations. Some were met, some weren't. You were a great athlete, which I was never an athlete in any way, form, or manner, and I was proud of that. But you were the greatest student, and I think I was, and that bothered me that I didn't know how to channel your energy into more studies versus athletic. I have a brother who's just the opposite. No athletic, yet studious. And that done him well. So is there a right or wrong? Absolutely not. You know, I used to tell people never ever give up on anybody because they'll surprise you if you'll let them. Both of you have surprised me in very positive ways.
This is my dad. Born in 1954, he grew up in Rockford, Illinois. He's worked anywhere and everywhere. He was a photographer, sold insurance, and even was a teacher for a while. Growing up, we didn't see eye to eye very often. I was always in trouble, and he didn't know what to do with me. He taught me how to work hard and to make things happen for myself. He was honest. My dad once told me that I really sucked at basketball, and that I was really good at soccer and I should stick with what I was good at. He was right. I didn't even hit 5 foot tall until the 8th grade. He did a great job at teaching us to learn on our own. He gave my brother and I a video camera when we were little, told us to figure it out. Shortly after our video chat, my dad got a new job. I asked him to come visit us on his way to Kansas City. I never really thought about how he was raised and how that might have affected him as a parent.
Dad was a very quiet person that did not like to brag about the things that he did, but he was also very strict. I knew exactly where I stood, but without him ever having to tell me. So he never showed love or affection, but you knew exactly what was expected from you, and you knew you better do it. And he did it with a look with just his presence, but not with a lot of words. My dad never hugged me, never said he loved me, and I suggest parents hug your kids, love your kids, tell them that you love them, praise them. Dad was proud of me, but I never heard it from him, but I knew it. If I could go back and do anything different, I would love to have more of a show of love, even though he did loved all of us, but he never showed it in an outwardly way. And I've tried to overcome that, but it's very hard on me. I'm not a hugger. I shy around when people hug me, and I have to fight showing my emotions very hard, and I think that has hurt other people. They think my emotional disattachment says that I don't care for them or don't love them, and when I do. I think I could have done a lot of things different and better if I would have thought I could have accomplished things, but not having anything to base it against. And knowing I had to do everything myself, I probably took different routes than I could have.
How were your parents raised? And how has that had an effect on you as a kid and now as a parent? Maybe they did the best they could with what they had. Maybe my dad could have been more present and paid more attention. Maybe he didn't know how. I really looked up to him. I figured he had all the answers. I think that most people view their parents as superheroes, and then somewhere along the line, they turn them into the villain.
The hour has come.
Is my dad really a villain, and should I blame all my problems on him? Probably not. Maybe along the way I've just sold myself short. It wasn't until I started a family that I realized that I had some pretty deep emotional wounds from the choices that I had made as a kid and from my dad, who sometimes fell short. A lot of psychologists would call this a father wound. To pinpoint what went wrong between my dad and I is nearly impossible, but something wasn't right. Something was off. You see, every time Max was off by a few degrees, we had to go back to the original point, recalibrate the compass, and look forward to where we needed to go. Growing up, my dad and I were always a few degrees off, and over the years those few degrees turned into miles apart. As a dad, I'm often lost and I stumble more than I would like to admit. But what if it is as simple as slowing down to look at our compass and make sure that a few degrees off doesn't turn into miles apart? How do you do this? Do you have what it takes? And how do you read your compass? I think that we can all learn together, exploring what fathers have done right and what fathers have done wrong. Maybe collectively, we can inspire each other to do the best that we can with what we have.
So that